Okay, we're ready to begin our news conference with the Kansas Jayhawks. Our coach is Coach Bill Self, and the student athletes are Marcus Garrett and David McCormick. Coach, congratulations on your victory tonight. Your thoughts?
Well, I thought it was a kind of a typical March game when you played somebody third time. Not many easy baskets. I thought both teams guarded the first half, and the second half, I didn't think we guarded great, and we got lucky that they missed some good looks. But we didn't get the ball. We made 4 shots, I think, outside of 3 feet for the night. So to come away with a win, when the ball didn't go in the basket, certainly I'm happy with that, and certainly happy that we get to spend another night here and play a much improved and tough West Virginia team.
Okay, Coach, thank you. Let's go to questions for our student athletes, Marcus and David, and we'll come back for Coach. Again, we have microphones on both sides of the room. Who wants to go first for our student athletes? Anyone? Okay. Guys, here on your left, front row.
Hey, David.
Go ahead.
Gary Bedore, could you talk about the difference between the last game against Texas and the job you did on Jackson Hayes trying to guard him tonight?
Just playing them for the third time, you get a really good feel for your opponents, and I know we have to get physical with him as far as getting inside of him just because he has length and like to be a shot blocker, so I use my size and strength to my advantage as far as playing against him.
Okay, in the middle here on the right.
Yeah, Kirk Bowles from the Austin American Statesman. David, do you feel like you are able to push it inside and then on defense just force them to take perimeter shots and you'd win this game?
I definitely think so. Having the presence inside and making them want to take outside shots is definitely an advantage that we had, and it was the right things that we did to force them to take bad shots.
Other questions? Okay, here on the front again.
Marcus, what do you think of KU's defense tonight and the challenges Texas presented?
I feel like we guarded great today, knowing that when we played down there at Texas, I feel like our ball screen defense wasn't great at all. I felt like they got anywhere they wanted to on the court. But this game, I feel like we was all locked in and we played great defensively.
Okay, here on the extreme left.
Marcus, how important was it for you to mix it up on the glass today, 8 defensive rebounds?
Coach always tells us to go rebound before the game. I just tried to put an emphasis on it today, just rebounding and helping out our bigs, not just trying to put all the rebounds on the bigs.
Okay, anything else? All right, guys, we'll let you go back to the locker room, get off your feet, get ready for tomorrow's game. Congratulations on your victory, and we will see you tomorrow evening.
What time's the game? Game's tomorrow. 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock, same time.
Yes, sir. Questions now for Coach Self. Okay, Coach, here toward the middle on the right.
Bill, how much did you think Hayes getting in that foul trouble changed the whole complexion of the game for Texas?
I thought it did. He got 2 so fast, and he got his third, if I'm not mistaken, start the second. But Lawson got 2 fast too, but not as fast as Jackson. But we have to have Diedrich in the game offensively, obviously. So I thought it probably kept both teams from being their very best, candidly. And certainly I don't know what happened after the game. Did they take him to the locker room? So you haven't heard anything then. But hope he's okay. He's a tremendous talent and got a great future. But that was a break for us, for him only to play 14 minutes. Although Jericho did play well.
Other questions now for Coach? Okay, we'll go toward the back on the right.
Coach, Justin Jackson with the Dominion Post. You mentioned West Virginia briefly in your opening remarks. Certainly a team, you scouted during the season and played twice. I don't know if you got a chance to see them earlier today, but just how much different do you kind of view them now with the run that they've gone on as opposed to, maybe what you saw a couple weeks ago?
Well, when we play, they beat us at their place, obviously. And then that was to basically start the league. That was around January 20th. And then we played them, I can't remember, 8 games ago maybe. And that was right when they had just let some guys go, and they obviously weren't together like they are now. So we caught a break by playing them probably at maybe one of the lowest points. And every team goes through ebbs and flows and ups and downs. But the team that I watched play tonight is hungry. They're playing with a free mind. The basket looks big to them, and certainly they're rebounding the ball like Huggs' teams have historically done at West Virginia. So, forget about the records or whatnot. When Kansas and West Virginia play, you usually get your money's worth as a game, and I'm sure it'll be that way tomorrow night as well.
We'll stay on the right side in the middle.
Did Snoop Roach seem timid or tentative or rusty to you, and how did you plan to attack him on defense?
We really didn't have a game plan to attack anybody. I was asked that question earlier, what I would expect, and I would expect nothing different than what we have known for the last 4 years. I assume he's been practicing with them, so that's a little bit different than an injury where you have been out and you worry about conditioning and those sorts of things. But he didn't have a great game numbers wise, but he's a really good player. And of course he played 20 minutes and he made a big 3 late when we totally screwed up defense coming off a missed free throw. But I like Texas's team talent, and I certainly love Kerwin's talent, and I've enjoyed competing against him the last 4 years. But he probably wasn't, maybe had his A game, maybe because of a little rust. But we didn't try to game plan for that at all.
Let's move to coach's left now.
Bill, I know you're focused primarily on the games, right? But how much thought, if any, have you given to sort of what this weekend could do for you guys, maybe staying closer to home, next weekend, the weekend after that?
Sam, I've in years past, I've given it a lot of thought. Well, if we can do this, or if we can win 2 over here, or 1 over here, that solidifies something. I have no idea where we are right now, and I obviously think, and maybe people will disagree with me, but a great showing this weekend, I think that we could, at worst be a 3 with a great showing this weekend. With an average showing this weekend, I don't know, 4 or 5, I have no idea. But I do think that the ultimate goal of being in Kansas City, if you could win 2 games, I think that's a little bit of a reach, to be candid. I don't think it's a reach that we could still play in Des Moines or Tulsa, but I think some things will have to happen positively for us to be able to do that, because right now I would say the chances are we probably be out of our area. But I don't know. The way I understood it or understand it is, if you're a top 4 seed, they try to keep you in the area. So we've got a chance to be that if we play well the rest of the weekend. So I think that can happen. But I think Kansas City would probably be a long shot.
All the way back on the left.
Coach, another strong game for David McCormick, 13 points, 9 rebounds. Have you placed any emphasis on getting him touches, getting him in the rhythm, getting him going early to keep his confidence up, or is that just something that sort of happened in the flow of the game tonight?
Well, if you followed us at all for 20 years, we all love throwing the ball inside early in the game. So that's how we've always played. So it's really, he's the beneficiary of that usually. But we did want to give their bigs something to guard. I mean, that was something that we wanted to do. And David has scored the ball better of late, and he's getting more and more confident, and obviously playing at a much higher level now that he's had more opportunities here in the last month or month and a half.
Closing questions for Coach Self in the middle, here on the right.
Yeah, Bill, are you surprised Shaka's had more struggles, getting wins and momentum? And is there any way you can make a case for Texas getting in the NCAA tournament?
Well, I can make a case from Texas because I really think Texas is one of the more talented teams in our league, without question. I think that they played a really good schedule, and they've got some wins that I could be wrong, but was Purdue and North Carolina. So they've got two of the best non-conference wins that anybody's had all year long is a non-conference situation, and going 8-10 in the league, certainly in a year where you could have as many as 8 get in. I think for sure 7, but I think that's very respectable without question. So, Shaka's hadn't had some great luck in some games. They've had some. I'm thinking of Baylor game. Was that a game down there that they played great in, and he just kind of got away late? And every team has a game or two like that, but it seems like to me that's kind of bit them a little bit. But from a talent standpoint, nobody's going to want to see Texas when they're in the tournament. So I think they're positively a tournament team. The thing that you probably are looking at, though, is from a one-loss standpoint, how many teams historically have gotten in. But you also have to look at how many teams now are considered bubble teams whose conference record was 7-11 or 6-12 or something like that. So if you look at it that way, then I think there's a strong case to be made for Texas being in the tournament.
Final question, front row, left side.
Dotson and Grimes only had 1 turnover. They scored a lot of points. What did you think of your freshmen in their first tournament game?
I thought, Quentin didn't have a great start early. I think he had had 1 point at halftime, maybe 1 or 2 from the line, and wasn't aggressive. But second half, he got fouled and he made his free throws, and he also made a big 3 and he got a run out. So I thought he played well. I thought Devon was pretty solid the whole game. He played a lot of minutes. I think that he accepted the challenge to guard Matt, and I think it wore him down a little bit. So he needs to get some rest. But I think they both did well. We got to get Ochai playing like he was playing before, but certainly those two did well, and I thought Marcus gave us a nice lift off the bench as well.
All right, Coach. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
We'll see you tomorrow. Okay, we are ready to begin our news conference with the University of Texas. Coach Shaka Smart. Student athletes are Jace Febris and Dylan Osadkowski. Coach, call on you first for an opening thoughts on tonight's game.
Yeah, I thought our guys showed a lot of fight down the stretch. We actually got enough stops at the latter part of the game, but we didn't score enough points earlier in the half. We didn't do a good enough job getting enough styles, particularly in transition. I think the difference in transition baskets is one of the key factors that led to Kansas winning the game.
Let's go to questions now for our student athletes. And guys, our first question will be on your right, toward the front.
Brian Davis, Austin American Statesman. Dylan, there were times where a lot was clicking for you out there. Just what did you feel against their defense when it wasn't working for a lot of other guys?
Nothing really that their defense was doing. I was just playing aggressive. Yeah.
Okay, again, here on the right side in the middle.
Jace, I'm curious how hard it was for Snoop to find any rhythm in the game tonight and how much that may have hurt y'all offensively.
My bad. Can you repeat the first part of your question?
Yeah, with Snoop having missed the last 5 games, it seemed like he struggled to get in an offensive rhythm. I wondered how much that set back your offense tonight.
Well, yeah, when you haven't played in the last 5 games, it's going to be a little tough to get your rhythm back. But, I mean, regardless, he came in and, you know, contributed as much as he could. So as for what he could have done better, I'm not sure because I'm not him. But I know he gave it his all, and that's all I could ask for.
Other questions now? Okay, again, here on the right.
Yeah, to both of you guys, in your heart, have y'all played well enough to get in the NCAA tournament?
Absolutely. Absolutely, no question about it. Regardless of our record, every game that we played, it was there for us to win. We've been in every game. It's a tough place leaving it up to the committee now, but I think we've definitely done enough for them to see that, you know, we're an NCAA tournament team.
Same. I think we've, you know, put our all in every single game we played. We've had our ups and downs, you know, as a team during the season, but regardless, I think we've, you know, stacked up enough wins, stacked up enough quality games to put ourselves in a good position to, again, deeper into March.
Okay, again, here in the middle.
Yeah, Dylan, how much did y'all feel hamstrung with Jackson's foul trouble and how few minutes he played tonight?
What do you mean by feel hamstrung?
One of your best players, and he played, you know, I don't know, 15, 16 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, whether, you know, he had, 2 points, 2 rebounds. You know, forget about what the stat sheet says. You know, when he's out there, he makes a difference. So, you know, he only had 2. Matt didn't have any. Regardless of the points, you know, guys are out there and they affect the game. And Jackson definitely affected the game, you know, definitely on the defensive end as well.
Okay, let's move to the left side now, the outside aisle.
Guys, how aware are you, I assume you are by now, that a 500 team has never made it into the NCAA tournament? And I guess, again, how would you state your case to the committee that you're deserving?
I actually didn't know that. I mean, like I said, look at our games early on in the season: North Carolina, Purdue, you know, Michigan State. Granted, we couldn't finish that out in the second half. Kansas at home, at Kansas. Every game in the Big 12. You know, I think Big 12 is one of the toughest conferences. You know, I don't know, in the nation. Look at the Texas Tech West Virginia game. Team that won, I don't know, 4 or 5 games in conference in the regular season comes out and just, you know, punches Tech in the mouth. Every night in the Big 12 is a dogfight, all-out war. You know, not to say you don't get that in other conferences, but, you know, every night is a fight. And like I said, I think we've done enough to put ourselves in a position to play in March and go win games in March. I think you get to a one-game situation, you know, teams don't want to see us. Teams don't want to see us out of our league.
Okay, any other questions for Dylan or Jace? No hands? Okay, guys, we'll let you go back to the locker room. I see Scott McConnell in the back. He'll take you to the locker room for more interviews if media are there. Thank you for coming tonight, and good luck next week.
Thanks, sir. Thank you.
Questions now for Coach Smart. Okay, Coach, on your right toward the front.
Hey, Shock, you touched on it a minute ago, but just their transition points and just how much of that was a killer, do you think? And do you think that may have been the game itself, just transition buckets?
That was definitely defensively, that was the biggest key. And going into the game, we knew that we needed to do a good job on them in transition. I thought for most of the first half we did. Lawson got loose and got a three-point shot in the first half, and there was one or two others that were caused by turnovers. But the second half, they were able to get out and transition too much, and particularly there was a three-point shot that Quentin Grimes hit midway through the half. That was a big one for us because it was after one of our makes. That's it's unacceptable. We can't give up a three after we make a shot. Our guys got confused. They got their wires crossed in terms of matchups and defense, but that was a big factor in the game. I think defensively that was the biggest factor because in the half-court possessions we guarded them pretty well.
Okay, here on the left.
CJ Moore, The Athletic. Shaka, how did you present this game to your guys as far as the significance? Did you present it as, hey, we need to win this to make sure we get in, or
yes.
kind of?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we talked about the fact that this was a game that I didn't necessarily tell the guys that it would get us in the NCAA tournament, but I told the guys that it was a game that we had to win, if we want to play in the NCAA tournament. And I thought our guys, want to was definitely there from the standpoint of like they really wanted to win the game. You see the looks on their faces after the game. Told that story. We just didn't do enough to win the game, particularly on the offensive end. Didn't make enough plays, and then down the stretch we missed some shots that were good shots that could have made a difference.
Let's go to the right now.
Shaka, does it just leave you a hollow feeling? You guys kind of, seem like patented the close loss. You seem like you played well enough to be right there at the end.
Yeah, I mean, we put ourselves in a position where, we were within, I think, 4 points. Matt missed that three in the corner. That's one way to describe it, hollow. But, there's a lot of different areas where we could have been better tonight. Somebody mentioned Jackson. Obviously, having him on the floor more makes a big difference. It was not Matt's night. He didn't play particularly well. And then again, as a team, there was a lot of things offensively that we needed to work together to do better. But Kansas deserves a lot of credit.
Swing back to the left.
Drew Davison, forward Star Telegram. Shaka, two things. Do you have an update on Jackson? I know it's early. And number two, what would you tell the committee why you guys deserve a bid?
Jackson hurt his left knee. Don't know the exact extent of it. We'll evaluate him when we get back to Austin. Hopeful that it's not, extremely serious, but he was in some pain. In terms of talking to the committee, we don't get that opportunity to speak directly to them. But, if you're going to evaluate teams based on the quality of their wins, we definitely, I think, deserve strong consideration. But, for us, our focus is on our guys and, helping them process this game today and understand what we can learn from it.
Okay, closing questions now for Coach here on the right.
Chuck, granted, I know the game just ended, but how are you going to approach the next, 48 hours or whatever it is until Selection Sunday with the guys, and when knowing the 500 team factoid and all that? I mean, are you going to keep their hopes up, or how are you going to approach that?
We'll spend a lot of time together as a team, and we know that obviously the season's not done, so we'll practice. We'll work on getting better. We've got a lot of young guys that need to learn a lot from this game, from this experience up here. So that's what we'll do. It's no different than what we do any other time. It just happens to be a couple of days before Selection Sunday. Certainly you want to control your own destiny, and that's the most disappointing thing about tonight.
All right, Coach, thank you so much, and good luck next week. Good to see you again.